And now we come to a part of the story which, if any of you here are familiar with Black and White, you will all probably know already. Yeah, here's where the plot takes a pretty big turning point, which most people already know about already, but for the sake of those who somehow don't, I won't really say anything. What I will say, though, is this part is actually going to be quite short, because, well, it only really contains one battle, and after that I go straight to the gym, so I want to put the whole gym in its own part, so this one's actually going to be pretty short compared to the others, and because of that, I thought I'd take some time to discuss something before I actually get to the main bit of this part. Just because, again, this part would be pretty short otherwise, so I thought I may as well put this here. Really, this is just something I've wanted to get out there before X and Y get released, just so that if, when they do get released, my assumption turns out to be correct, I have proof that I predicted it ahead of time. Okay, yeah, this may seem a little weird, but for some reason I've gotten really good at guessing plot twists lately. I've actually done it for a whole bunch of TV shows we've been watching recently, and normally I wouldn't make much of this, except that yesterday I found out something fairly interesting. You see, Ace Attorney Dual Destinies was recently released in Japan. Now, normally I would avoid spoilers and the like. I've been trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can. However, I haven't really been able to on one thing. Before the game even came out, just based on info on certain characters we'd received based on trailers, I made a guess as to who the main antagonist of the game would be. And, as it turns out, I was completely 100% correct. Yes, I successfully guessed the big bad of the game before it even came out. Well, actually, there was a little more to it than I thought, but, suffice to say, I was right about who it was, but I wasn't quite right about who it was. Please let that cryptic statement increase sales of this game. Okay, everyone watching this, please go out and buy the game when it comes out. The Ace Attorney series is amazing. It needs more recognition in the West, because those damn people over at Capcom were screwing us over with not localizing Ace Attorney Investigations 2, damn them. And if you don't want that to happen again, I suggest you buy this game from the eShop the moment it gets released. Please do. But, anyway, this is not an Ace Attorney video, this is a Pokemon video. And you might be thinking, what does this have to do with Pokemon? Well, not much, but on the subject of guessing plot twists, there have been a bunch of rumours going around about X and Y, and a whole bunch of information that claims to be leaked. Now, I'm not trusting any of this, really. The only leak that I know was 100% trustworthy was the one that leaked the fairy type, and literally everything that guy said turned out to be true. However, it's all information that we already know now. So, any things that claim to be leaks that are coming out around this time, yeah, take them with a grain of salt. They're probably not entirely true. But the main thing I want to say is, there is a particular rumor going around about the new professor, Professor Sycamore. Now, based on information we've got recently, we know that he battles you occasionally throughout the game. This is something that a professor in the series has never done. Well, unless you count the unused data for a battle with Professor Oak back in Red and Blue. But, yeah, that is, again, unused data, you know. So yeah, there are hints that Professor Oak may have been battleable at one point, but looks like they're finally going to realize the professor actually battles you thing with Professor Sycamore in this one. Now, because of that, there have been a whole bunch of rumors and people suggesting, and a whole bunch of things that claim to be leaked information that claim to have confirmed evidence that Professor Sycamore will turn out to be the champion. Now, I'm not really going to trust any of this. At the moment, I think it's still up in the air, and it really could go either way. However, I would just like to say for posterity that I have been predicting and anticipating a "the Professor is the champion" plot twist for a long time. Even before Gen 5, maybe even before Gen 4. I always thought that one of the things the series could possibly pull is have the Professor turn out to be the champion. And yeah, I've actually believed that could possibly happen in a later game. In fact, if I ever made my own Pokemon ROM hack, I actually wanted to make my region's Professor the champion. That was actually something I had in mind that would be pretty cool. So, again, I just want to put this out there. If Professor Sycamore does turn out to be the champion, I would just like to say, haha, I called it! Sorry. We now return to your regular scheduled programming. Now that we've dealt with all these side things, really the only thing left to do is go and head on over to the amusement park. Now this is my team at the moment, and well, the next battle that's coming up is infamous for being actually pretty tough. Namely, one specific Pokemon on this opponent's team is often considered to be really, really annoying. So, I got Flash now, that's interesting. Not going to use it though. I'm going to make a point of not using any accuracy or evasion moves in this entire playthrough, just to prove that this kind of challenge can be won without being a cheap bastard. I'm also not going to use Quick Claw or Bright Powder or anything like that either. So, no relying on hacks. But, anyway, have I taught Dig to Sandile yet? I'm going to need to before the gym. Yeah, I might as well do now. Yeah, okay, Sandy Claus has Dig, so you're the only thing that needs Dig at this point. And, okay, what do I get rid of? Alright, definitely get rid of Sand Tomb. That's just kind of a pretty move, if I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of what they call partial trapping moves. Of course, back in Gen 1 they were totally broken, so I understand why they got horribly nerfed in later generations, but still. They're just, yeah, I mean, I've seen some Heatran sets that rely on, Magma Storm with a binding band, but I guess that's really the only way they can be good, really. And, okay, so the moment we enter the amusement park, we'll meet a familiar face. So yeah, apparently Team Plasma's in here, so we, oh, by the way, that, brightly lit building there is the gym. We'll be coming back there later. So, doesn't look like there's any Team Plasma people here. Do I have a choice in this matter? Okay. Huh. Whatever you say. And yeah, we have a pretty impressive cutscene here. And then we have this. Yep, the wham moment. Now, this lost a bit of its impact in the fact that about 90% of people guessed this long before the games even came out. But yeah, turns out N was a member of Team Plasma all along. Yeah, most people kind of guessed this. And now we have the infamous Ferris wheel scene. Now, personally, I really don't see what a whole lot of people are on about. I personally don't think there's anything shipping related about this scene at all. But anyway, now Team Plasma's finally, yes, exposed themselves. They're referring to N as their lord. Team Plasma kind of being based off medieval knights in a way. The main thing I see about this scene is just how kind of creepy it is that N sees absolutely nothing wrong with forcing you into a confined area and telling you quite bluntly that he's the leader of a criminal organization. And yes, now N finally gets his own battle entrance animation, and it's a pretty epic one at that. You might have been suspicious by the fact that N had his own battle theme and an animated sprite, but no versus animation. Yep, he's got one now. So, like always, N uses Pokemon that are found in a nearby area. In this case, he uses Pokemon mostly from the desert, so you have a good idea of what to expect, and a good idea why this fight is going to be so annoying. Ah, wow, okay. So this thing's used embargo on me, which means that now I can't use any items like potions, and my hold items stop working. Which, yeah, is pretty annoying, but I'm not sure if it applies to your whole team or just the Pokemon it's used on. Embargo is almost never used competitively, so I really don't know how it works exactly. Ah, okay, Assurance is not nearly as dangerous as, if that was Payback, it would have hit full power, but, in the case of Assurance, just, regular power. And that was pretty powerful, considering that I'm quite a few levels... Oh, of course, oh, right, Embargo must be only one Pokemon if he's using it again like that. Okay... Yeah, N has a lot of strangely creepy lines like that. Anyway, okay, Sandile is gone. Again, you might think that, oh, my Tailwind is gone already? Yeah, you might be thinking, hey, it's the desert, I'll have a lot of ground time so I can safely keep my grass in. No, he's got a Darumaka. Now, if I can hit this thing with Dig, I should be pretty fine. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that Darumaka versus Darumaka, he's gonna win. Fire Punch. Yep, that's gonna be pretty... Whoa, that's not good. And I think this thing is faster than me, so nope, yep, gone. And of course, Hustle isn't gonna make you miss, but it makes me miss all the time. Typical AI. Fortunately, yeah, I've got a lot more things with Dig that can feasibly take this thing out. In my case, I've got Stab combined with Soft Sand, so this Dig is gonna hurt quite a lot. Provided I don't get one-shotted by Fire Punch. Please don't get one-shotted by Fire Punch. And I got one-shotted by Fire Punch! Hey! Oh, this is going pretty badly. And I can't burn him with Exodia either. I could at least try and tank him with Exodia. With Eviolite, this thing is ridiculously bulky, so I could just try and... dang it. Hex is going to be stuck at half power. Yeah, Hex only hits for full power if the opponent's inflicted with a status condition. Now, normally, I would, oh, good, I've killed his Hustle. That's great. That means that, he no longer has the 50% or 30%, whatever it is, attack boost to physical attacks. So that should be useful. Unfortunately, this also means, though, that he no longer has the accuracy penalty. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. But, I guess I should be able to stall him out pretty well with that attack reduction. Yeah, the one annoying thing about using Eviolite tanks is that they do run through their healing items quite rapidly. But this is probably the main way I see of dealing with Darumaka, considering that, yeah, Sandy Claws doesn't actually resist fire, so there's a chance he'd get taken out in one shot too. And N's not going to use any healing items. Ooh, that was close, but anyway. Yeah, normally I would burn them and then go for the Hex for 100 power. Oh, and of course, the law of critical hits, isn't it? Always happens when you don't need it. Now, Scraggy, I do want to get Exodia out of here because that thing is part dark, and, yeah, or not, I don't know. Perhaps I could get rid of, either Moxie or Shed Skin with, yep, you are going to use a dark move. Let's see how much I take this. Alright, Shed Skin is gone. Okay, that is good, because now I can successfully burn you without having to worry about... Oh, great. Didn't see that coming. Oy, that's annoying. Yeah, that attack boost is not going to do much for a tank. Anyway, like I was saying... oh, good, I burned him. Good, I got pretty lucky there, I will admit. But now that his Shed Skin is gone, I don't have to worry about that burn spontaneously healing anytime soon. So and now his attack, which is obviously his main stat, physical attack, is now reduced, and he's going to be taking damage every turn, so I've successfully crippled that thing. Now I just need to get Sandy Claws in there. Hopefully I've got enough defense to tank... Oh wow, definitely enough defense to tank that. Now I can probably safely set up Rock Polishes. This is imperative, because the next Pokemon that comes out, let's just say these Rock Polishes are really going to help me. Now, if I can get over this confusion, this Swagger might actually help me more than it's hurting me. If I can snap out of this confusion, I guess, do I really need any more than one Rock Polish? I don't think I do. I guess Smackdown's my main option here. Oh, that's not good. Wow, and you're actually teaching your Pokemon TM moves. That's pretty nice. Okay, that thing's going to be gone in a few turns anyway, so I may as well set up another Rock Polish, and I'm going to hurt myself up. Wow, okay. Sandy Claws, you are getting really lucky today. Please don't critical hit, please don't critical hit. Good, no critical hit. And now I can safely heal and just watch while the burn finishes him off. Now I'm going to go straight into N's next Pokemon with +4 speed and +2 attack. That is going to be really helpful because N's next Pokemon is a very, very annoying one. Yep, here comes the infamous one, N's Sigilyph. So yeah, nothing to say about that. Let's see if I can hit it with Smackdown. And I'm out of confusion. And Sigilyph just got one-shotted, so the biggest danger of this fight was dealt with pretty easily. See, let that be a lesson to you. You probably want to catch a Dwebble in this kind of playthrough, just because having rock polish naturally is amazing. I will admit, N, thanks for the swagger, that really helps. If it weren't for that, things could have got annoying. I'm pretty sure that thing's got either Air Cutter or Air Slash too. It can be pretty nasty. Anyway, we see a full screen close-up of N, and one of those lines was actually revealed to us before the game even came out. So apparently, now we actually have a reason to head for the Pokemon League. It's not just, I want to be the very best, no, we've actually got a skill. So, yeah, we've got a plot reason for heading to the Pokemon League. N is now gone, and, well, that's pretty much the end of it. Except, I might take a little bit longer for this part, just to explain a few interesting things about this particular scene. So yes, the Ferris wheel scene has become pretty infamous in the fandom. Now, again, I totally don't agree of this scene being shipping evidence or anything. In fact, I find it incredibly creepy and disturbing that people would even think that. But then again, fandoms get weird like that. Still, my main point here is, I wanted to just take a bit of time to explain how this scene goes in the manga version. Specifically, Pokemon Adventures. Now, the Pokemon Adventures manga is quite well known amongst most people in the fandom, particularly among the English-speaking fandom. It's actually much more popular in the West than it is in Japan. Japan actually prefers the more comical manga, whereas it seems that a lot of Westerners prefer Adventure's more serious take on the series, mostly because a lot of them are really annoyed at just how kiddie the anime is. So, yeah, a lot of Westerners keep talking about how, oh, the anime should have been an adaptation of Pokemon Adventures to start with. While I do agree about this, and I do like a lot of the ways that Adventures, does things, particularly, the thing I like about Adventures is the way they managed to make all the protagonists of all the generations really distinct personality-wise. I actually really like that. Not a lot of things tend to do that. Even the games themselves. Generally speaking, male protagonist, female protagonist, throughout all the generations, they're basically exactly the same, except for their appearance, really. So, I really like how the manga managed to not only invent distinct personalities for all of them, but actually make them really unique and distinct from each other. I do agree it is a little, interesting what they did to Ruby and Sapphire, but it does work from the context of the manga. But anyway, there are a few things in the manga that I personally disagree with, particularly in that they make several characters who aren't really that evil in the games, well, villains. They made half of the gym leaders side with Team Rocket in Kanto. So, yeah, Sabrina, Lieutenant Surge were both Team Rocket members in Kanto. It's kind of a shame, though. Sabrina's been depicted as a villain in a whole bunch of media, and, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for her. It's kind of funny how, Black and White 2 has Sabrina actually playing a villain in movies, probably as a reference to how often she is depicted as a villain in alternate canons. But that's off topic. What I wanted to talk about here is the manga's portrayal of N and this particular scene. Unlike in the games, N is much, much less sympathetic in the manga. In the games, while it's clear that N has absolutely zero social skills, for reasons that will become obvious later, he just downright doesn't get humans. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care about how they feel. In fact, he's actually quite attentive to most people's feelings, and he's often genuinely upset when his actions end up hurting people. he would never intentionally hurt anyone, and he doesn't want his views to hurt anyone. In fact, later on, it becomes obvious that the way he's doing things is, he wants to liberate Pokemon without resulting in violence or conflict. He doesn't want other people to get hurt, even though they're against him. In the manga, not so much. In the manga, N has the same goal of liberating Pokemon, but he is more than willing to psychologically abuse and manipulate people to further that goal. Now, while a lot of this can be chalked up to him, again, having no social skills and not understanding other people's feelings, in the manga, it's clear that, totally in contrast to the games, he outright doesn't care about the feelings of anyone other than himself. And he basically sees it as completely inconsequential how badly hurt other people get, which is very different, almost the exact opposite of how he's portrayed in the games. Now, this really comes to a head at the Ferris wheel scene, which in the manga is one of the most tragic scenes in any Pokemon continuity. Essentially how it happens is this. It happens with White, who's basically the female protagonist of the games. Now, just some context here. In the manga, White runs kind of a talent agency that specializes in renting out Pokemon for acting jobs. By the way, this was before PokerStar Studios was conceived, so the manga does have a tendency to predict plot points in the games long before they actually happen. For example, in the manga, this is just another random tangent, but the manga's depiction of Lance is almost identical to the game's depiction of N, except that the manga Lance is a little more extreme in what he wants to do. He basically wants to free Pokemon by wiping out all humanity, but in terms of his empathy towards Pokemon and his desire to liberate them, he's actually really similar to N in the game canon, which is kind of interesting. Oh yeah, by the way, one of the things I probably dislike most about the manga is the fact they made the Elite Four, not just evil, but outright kill all humans insane psychopaths. Except for Bruno, but anyway. He was apparently mind-controlled, but still. So, back to what I was saying, though, about the Ferris wheel scene. Basically, White runs a talent agency where she hires out Pokemon for acting jobs. One of her main Pokemon is a Tepig named Gigi, a female one, which I guess is kind of rare, but anyway. Now this Tepig has been with her since the beginning, and is basically like her main starter Pokemon. Now, what happens in the Ferris wheel scene is, just like the games, N forces White onto the Ferris wheel and reveals that he's the leader of Team Plasma. Then, he forces White's Tepig to fight his Servine. After Tepig wins, N concludes that White had been neglecting its battle skills. White tries to escape from the Ferris wheel, and to her utter horror, she finds out that Gigi, her main companion throughout her whole journey, has actually left her and sided with N. It thinks that N is completely right about it not living up to his full potential, and actually has betrayed her original trainer and sided with N. And to add insult to injury, White actually ends up falling off the Ferris wheel in a desperate attempt to escape, and ends up severely injured and emotionally traumatized. Ouch! Yeah, it's safe to say a whole lot of readers lost all sympathy for Manga N after that. And then not only that, but later on, he even convinces one of Black's Pokemon that it was only, well, Black's Muna/Mishana, that was only with him just to eat his dreams, and causes it to leave him too, leaving him emotionally traumatized. So, yeah. Manga N is, again, much less sympathetic than his depiction in the games. Some people wonder if that's because the writer of the manga was just outright sick of all the fangirls who were swarming in, based on his game characterization, and just wanted to take a massive jab at the fangirls, who like to depict him as desirable. I don't know. That could be the case, I'm not entirely sure. But either that, or they wanted to make him distinct from Manga Lance, because, to all intents and purposes, Manga Lance pretty much is Game N, just a little more extreme. Now, the anime actually goes with another depiction of N altogether. In the anime, N is in fact an ex-Team Plasma member right from the start, and is pretty much heroic and actually helping of the heroes right from the beginning. Of course, by this point, Black and White 2 were out, so I guess that was influenced by those games where, and I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, N has had several different depictions over the different canons, but you know, to all intents and purposes, he is one of the most complex and developed characters in the series, and there have been many interpretations surrounding him. So I just wanted to bring, a few of the other alternate interpretations of different canons up, and make this part go on a bit longer. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I'll see you next time for the Nimbasa gym battle. Just a sneak preview, it's going to be kind of annoying.